And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, guys. Here from Tokyo, Japan. Card Senpai here. Today, I wanna talk about the recent video of Logan Paul.
This is major.
I'm gonna
I got
put the video
cases.
For
on
what?
I got cases of One Piece.
Is it
I'm a
revived?
on
collector.
below,
Is it
I'm a
revived?
and you
collector.
guys can
Hey,
see
hey, One
that
Piece.
it looks like Logan
X
Paul
and
has
Twitter
now moved
and fan
into the
pages.
One
They're gonna
Piece
hate it.
universe.
Take it away, bro.
They're gonna hate
So
it.
all you investor bros
Jimmy
and
Mr. Beast have been saying
basically
about the
One Piece
fan base.
fans,
Sounds like they're pretty toxic.
good luck.
Look, I'm not
Okay,
pretending
so
I'm a One Piece
Logan Paul
mega
will
fan.
be.
I did watch the
I
live
don't know if that
action
video
show on
was
Netflix.
was
was
great.
basically there
Luffy
to
D. Monkey.
trigger,
Shout out Luffy.
but it looks
Monkey
like a
D.
lot of
Luffy.
people is talking
What?
about it right
Monkey
now.
D.
So
Luffy.
it's one of the reasons why I'm talking about the
See, it's that
Logan
type of
Paul
shit. They're
One
gonna
Piece case
fucking hate.
video, because we're gonna talk about how will the One Piece TCG market will look like in the future. So as you know, Logan Paul put up his Illustrator Pikachu up for auction in golden auctions, right? And right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's at 6 million. Basically, he actually got a it's an auction and it's actually more than what he paid for in Dubai. So from there, in the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, we're gonna see where the market will trend for Pokemon. But as of right now, this is talking about the One Piece. So it looks like Logan Paul's dipping his collection to his so-called Luffy D Monkey. So a lot of One Piece people will be triggered by that, but at the same time, I think they shouldn't feel triggered because he basically is jumping into One Piece just like every one of you guys who never even collected One Piece. I've been collecting since the beginning of 2022 of Japanese One Piece, even before the English release, so I never seen any videos that are people so-called One Piece fans from back then because out of the blue they all started to get crazy because One Piece became popular, right? Just like Logan Paul. Everyone moved to One Piece because it started to become popular from the anime to the Netflix TV series and now to the card game. So, as you know, Japanese released the first ever 2022 One Piece TCG, and then from there on, it started to catch steam with the Netflix TV series, and then now people starting to move it into the trading cards because One Piece is more available right now, and Pokemon was basically heavily scalped. So the One Piece market is gonna look pretty crazy for 2026 due to the demand and now the hype. You know, Mr. Beast, I Show Speed, and now Logan Paul will be touching the card game now. So to say that One Piece will be the greatest TCG, it's very young. It's not even a 5-year-old hobby. Okay, it's since 2022. Now it's 2026. So One Piece still has a lot to grow, but at the same time, it's not gonna look too good long term because as the TCG is still very new, not many people will enjoy the game as of right now, where cards will start to be heavily scalped, and everyone will start to overprice these so-called artificial rare, artificial scarce cards. So, in my opinion, talking about the One Piece TCG, the only cards that will be truly valuable are exclusives. For example, those Chinese exclusives only printed in China. Same with Japan, only printed in Japan. And English, only printed in English. So exclusive cards will always hold value more than multiple release languages, right? Modern sets. So same goes for serial cards. They're gonna be very heavily sought after, but at the same time they're gonna hold its value very strongly. Tournament cards, prize cards, championship cards, and basically serialized cards because they're more limited, right? Compared to modern sets where you can pull a manga, an SP. Many people will try to promote, hype, and say that, oh, for example, you can only pull a certain cards in how many cases. In reality, if you are able to pull a card from a set, it is not that rare than what people expect. So just remember, if you see a lot of sealed boxes around, don't be surprised, guys. Don't think that, oh, it's gonna go to the moon. So, as I talked in my recent video, that if there are vintage Pokemon cards sealed, still lingering around 22 decades, 3 decades later, what makes you think One Piece will not be the same or even more, right? Everyone is too aware nowadays, and same with grading condition, people are too aware, which is why I also believe that vintage will just continue to rise for Pokemon because not many people were aware of keeping their base set Charizard. Basically, their, for example, let me try to show you one of the ancient Mew cards, right? So, as you can see, cards from back then are much more, uh, it will hold its value much more because of the awareness as well from back then and now. Many people right now, once they pull a card or have a card, they automatically send it to grading. It comes back a 9 and a 10, which is, I want to talk about in another video that grading also is another illusion that where people try to brainwash themselves to thinking that they have the greatest card in their hands, but in reality, the label does not carry the value. It's the card scarcity is what controls the value. If there are limited cards of it, then guess what? It will extend even into grading. For example, if you have a pop 10 card, right? If you have a population of PSA 10 cards, but at the same time, if population PSA 10 is like 3 and there's like 20 in existence, of course the price will be high because the scarcity is only 10. Sorry, yeah, 10 in existence, right? 20 in existence and only 3 graded. So scarcity does matter when it comes to value, but in terms of modern cards and being pulled in modern sets, yes, the demand will be high, but at the same time, they will be heavily pushed by vendors, stores, influencers, and anything that is easily accessible will be hyped up and pushed into demand, and has this artificial illusion of uh, artificial like rarity behind it. So, what do you guys think about the Logan Paul? Uh, Him purchasing 2 case, 3 case of One Piece. I'm not too sure what set from OP is it from, but it doesn't really matter. One Piece will be very interesting in the upcoming months in 2026, especially in 2020 April 2026. The rotation for One Piece cards, those cards will be, I would say, heavily hoarded, scalped, and basically overpriced very soon. So it will be an interesting time for the hobby. As a One Piece collector, I would suggest many people try not to buy and support these overpriced vendors and overpriced stores that are trying to like basically manipulate the market, right? The cards aren't rare, and at the same time, if you're patient and you understand that collecting is part of it's part of the goals in your collection, whether you're grading or collecting in a binder. Patience is key, and wait for a dip. And right now, Pokemon will hopefully go into an all-time low, and that will be the perfect time to start basically collecting more of the older cards. So I hope you guys comment down below what you guys think about the future of the One Piece card collection, and comment down which is your favorite One Piece character. Team Mihawk. Oos. Bye bye.